Everyone, hello and welcome back to Nick Does Algos. In this lesson, we'll be covering the Hackerrank easy rated algorithm service lane. So this question, you are provided a bunch of widths as well as cases. And the widths describe the width of the service lane. So imagine that from this point to this point is the service lane. And as you move through the service lane, it changes widths. Here it gets wider, it goes back to a narrow version here, and then narrows out to finish this stretch of the service lane. The cases are providing indexes in which cars would essentially enter the service lane and then exit the service lane. And what this question is asking, it's asking you to return the widths inside of that case, but not all the widths, just the minimum width. It's essentially saying, hey, you are going to enter the service lane here. How wide of a car could you fit if you exited here? So if you entered here and exited here, well, you could fit something this wide through the service lane. You couldn't fit something this wide, this wider width here, because you would have to go back to this more narrow one. So you want to return the minimum value that occurs with between the entrance and the exit of the service lane. Okay, so let's head over to Replit and start to get to work. We have not defined our cases. I apologize. Normally I have this stuff copied and pasted over already. So let's go ahead and pluck cases, and it looks like we'll need n as well. And n is equal to 8, it looks like. So we'll paste our cases, and n is equal to 8, and we'll fix this up. Okay, now let's start to get to work. So as I mentioned, you'll want to store the answer somehow, right? And in this scenario, we're going to store a bunch of answers. We're going to store the minimum width for each and every case that happens in this cases array. So let's create an array, let's instantiate an answers array that will hold those minimum widths. And then of course, we're going to want to loop through our cases and evaluate each case. Oh, this is a little off, let's pop that back. Okay, so next we will write for case in cases. And what is that? That is each subarray inside of our cases array. We are going to look at two values. Oh, we're actually missing something. We need the width. The width here is essentially the the service lane, the width of the service lane. So we can do this, and then we can reference it from there. Okay, so for case in cases, what are we going to do? Well, let's set the entrance equal to the first index position of our subarray, and let's set the exit to the second position of our subarray. So we can do that by, we'll use I and j. In the Hackerrank problem, they reference I and j, so we'll just go ahead and use I and j, and that will be case 0 and case 1. Oh, not quite what I wanted. 0 and j. Sorry guys, I cannot get my typing on point today. Case index position 1. Okay, so now you have the the entrance to the service lane and the exit to the service lane set as variables. You have those index positions set as variables. So you can go ahead and evaluate the widths that you encounter from the entrance to the exit. So for this first example, you're going to enter at index position 0 and exit at index position 3. So where is that on this width array? That would be 0 from here to 1, 2, 3, and you would include the 3. So what does that look like? It looks like the narrowest width we encounter in that range is 1. So let's go ahead and set a temporary array instantiate a temporary empty array. And from there, we will fill it with those instances. We'll fill it with all the widths that we encounter from the beginning of the service lane to the end of the service lane, the entrance and the exit. And we can do that by writing a loop for k in range I to j plus 1. Oh, we missed the I. Okay, so there's our range that we will walk through. And as we walk through that, we will append the width to our temporary array. We can do temp.append min, oh, sorry, not quite yet. I'm skipping a line. Width bracket k. So what is our first k? Our first k will be equal to I. Our first I is equal to 0. What happens at width 0? You get 2. So you would append 2 to your temporary array. Let's go ahead and print our temporary array. Print temp. And we'll print that every time we loop through. So there you go. Here's our first case. Our first subarray is from 0 to 3, and that is exemplified by these widths. So you have this length of the service road, and you want to return the minimum of that, because the minimum of this is the smallest width that you encounter. So we can exit our loop. Let's exit our loop. And here we can answer.append the min of our temporary array. And then we can go ahead and print our answer. And that should, one by one, add the minimums to our arrays. And there you go. We have 5 subarrays. Therefore, we should have 5 integers in this array. And just a quick eyeball test. This all looks right. So let's go ahead and copy and paste this over into Hackerrank. Kind of a funky format. We're just going to return an array here. We're not going to return one by one outputs like you would think based on just looking at it. So let's go ahead and return our ants and get this formatted. That might not be gravy. Okay, that should work, I think. Let's go ahead and run it. Oh, probably have a formatting error somewhere. What do we have? Oh, this all needs to be moved up. You know what? I'm just gonna copy and paste this from my VS Code just because it is all formatted already. And there you go, that should work. Awesome, so we passed both of our sample test cases. Let's go ahead and run all the test cases. And there you go, we passed all of them. So I hope that's clear, I hope that's making sense. If this helped you out, if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and hit the like button. And as usual, we cover these just about every day. So if you are currently covering algorithms, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching and hope to see you in the next one.